Hello friend, I want to tell you about the BMW X5 car. BMW, when introducing the X5 as the first SUV in history, immediately wanted to distance itself from the sports utility vehicle label. The idea was that the X5 was not to be associated with utility and to be a direct competitor to cars from the US and European or Japanese off-road vehicles. It was also not a competitor to the Range Rover, at least technically. That's why BMW insisted on the SAV, Sports Activity Vehicle, designation. And indeed, the BMW X5 lacks off-road and utility character, although it does have an efficiently functioning four-wheel drive and, for example, hill descent control. The Range Rover, on the other hand, borrowed the solution with a split tailgate, on the lower part of which you can sit. It has survived to this day. Overall, the car is practical, comfortable, usually very well equipped and well finished. And above all, it is a pleasure to drive. The BMW X5 has a fully self-supporting structure, a multi-link suspension tuned for dynamic driving, and many solutions and engines used in the BMW 5 Series, E39, among others. This also has some advantages, such as excellent access to parts, but it was also a period of good BMW units. During the production of this car, BMW used two different drive transmission solutions. Before the facelift, it was decided to use the asymmetric differential known from the BMW 3 Series, which distributed the torque in the proportions of 62 to 38% rear front. This is a very good solution for the road, but not very efficient in difficult conditions. To add more driving pleasure and improve the off-road capabilities that have been ridiculed by the media many times, after the facelift, the differential mechanism was replaced by an electronically controlled clutch, known from later and current models, which engages the front axle. Thanks to this, the X5 has become more oversteering, and the electronics more easily control the distribution of torque to the axles, also off-road. As for the engines, these are such well-known and old units that we can only talk about faults or where typical for high mileage. In the great diesels from the M57 family, everything can wear out, although the engines themselves are extremely durable. Average fuel consumption of about 10-100 kilometers and good dynamics encourage choosing these units. Then HEF. You only have to remember to remove the flaps in the intake system, which can quickly destroy the engine. Those who value low costs and relative safety should choose the 3.0i petrol variant. The 3-liter 6-cylinder M54 performs very well, and despite occasional faults in the cylinder head and timing area, it can be considered the least problematic. This is the only petrol engine from the M family, older generation, that survived the entire production period. Very good for installing autogas. Fuel consumption, according to AutoCentrum reports, is about 16 Ls 100 kilometers. For connoisseurs, there are V8 engines with 3 different capacities and 2 generations. The older 4.4 is the M62, later replaced by the N62. The 4.6 is the M62, and the 4.8 is the N62. It is good to know that the M family has a slightly simpler structure, because the N uses double Vanos and the Valvetronic system. In general, both engines should be considered expensive to service, especially in the area of timing. However, the most problematic is the 4.6L engine. On the other hand, fuel consumption at the level of 17 to 100 kilometers is compensated by the performance, especially of the 4.8i version, which at that time was the most dynamic SUV on the market, even faster than the Mercedes ML55 AMG. Is it worth buying a BMW X5 Generation E53 today? If you come across a car in good condition, it is a safer choice than the second generation or the younger Porsche Cayenne. The car is still based on old, durable solutions. You have to reckon with high service costs, suspension, especially air suspension, brakes, tires, drive system. But they are still lower than in most competing models. A big advantage of the X5 is its good corrosion resistance. Typical faults in BMW X5 E53. Minor equipment faults: wiper, locks, parking sensors, sunroof. Quite low durability of automatic gearboxes. Quite low durability of the xDrive drive. Typical diesel equipment faults. Watch out for the intake flaps. Faults in the timing area of petrol engines. Capricious electronics. What to look for? Preferably a 3.0 in the best possible condition with a manual gearbox. What to avoid? US V8 versions. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know of any problems with this car that I haven't mentioned, be sure to write about them in the comments.